Most people believe building extra income with a full-time job requires extreme discipline. Waking up at 5 a.m., working late into the night, grinding every spare minute. And if you're not doing that, then you're not serious enough. But here's something I realized. That approach works for people whose full-time job is building income, not for professionals already working 8 to 10 hours a day. Because after a full day of work, your problem is not lack of ambition, it's lack of energy. And that changes everything. Because when energy is limited, the game is no longer about effort, it's about systems. Let me show you what I mean. A while back, I noticed something interesting. Two professionals were both trying to build extra income. Both were serious. Both were putting in the effort. But their approaches were completely different. The first person treated it like a second job. Long hours when they felt motivated, trying different ideas, switching strategies often. Some weeks they worked a lot. Other weeks, nothing. The second person did something much simpler. They had a fixed system. Same time, same process, same structure. Every week, nothing exciting, nothing complicated. But 6 months later, the difference was obvious. The first person had tried many things. The second person had built something stable. And that's when something clicked. The difference wasn't effort, it was structure. Because building extra income with a full-time job is not about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it consistently. So let me walk you through the system I use. Not a strategy, a system. Because strategy tells you what to do. A system ensures you actually do it. And it's built around 3 simple principles: clarity, control, consistency. But before we get there, there's something important to understand. Most systems fail because they don't match real life. They look good on paper, but they collapse under pressure. Busy days, low energy, unexpected schedules. So the goal is not to build the perfect system. It's to build a system that survives your life. That's the difference. Now here's how it works. The first part is clarity. This is where most people go wrong. They try to do too many things at once. Trading, an online store, maybe selling products offline, maybe offering a service. Each one makes sense. Each one feels like an opportunity, but together they create confusion, and confusion leads to hesitation because every day starts with, what should I focus on? And that question alone drains your energy. So clarity means one thing, one system, one process, one focus, not forever, but long enough to build momentum. For example, instead of trying to run an online store and learn trading and start side service, you pick one. Maybe focus on trading, or you focus on supplying a small product consistently, like office snacks, weekend food delivery, or reselling a specific item. But the key is this: you remove alternatives, because clarity is not about having options, it's about removing them. Now, once clarity is in place, we move to control. This is where most systems break, because people start with a plan, but they don't stick to it. They adjust based on feelings. If they feel confident, they increase risk. If they feel uncertain, they hesitate. If they see something new, they switch direction, and slowly the system becomes unpredictable. So control means this: you decide in advance when you act, when you don't act, how much time you use, how much risk you take. No decisions in the moment, because decisions in the moment are emotional, and emotional decisions are inconsistent. Think about it like driving. Most people know the rules, but good driving is not about knowledge, it's about control. Control under pressure, control when things are unpredictable. Income systems work the same way. Now, here's where it all comes together: consistency. This is the part most people underestimate because it doesn't feel powerful, it feels repetitive, sometimes even boring. But consistency is where results are built. Yeah? Because consistency creates compounding, small actions repeated over time, stacking on each other. And here's the key. Consistency is not about discipline, it's about design. If your system requires motivation, it will fail. If it requires high energy, it will also fail. But if it's simple enough, you can execute it even when you're tired. That's when consistency becomes possible. Let me show you what it looks like practically. Instead of saying, I'll work on my extra income when I have time, you define it. Every weekday, 8:30 p.m., 30 minutes, same process. No negotiation, no overthinking. If you're trading, you review the same setup. If you're running a small side business, you handle the same tasks. If you're managing an online system, you execute the same workflow. The goal is not variety, it's repeatability. Because repeatability creates momentum, and momentum is what turns effort into results. Now, here's something important. This system is not designed to be exciting. It's designed to be sustainable, because excitement fades, motivation fades, but structure remains. And this is where most professionals start to feel relief. Because instead of trying to do more, you focus on doing the same thing consistently. And that changes everything. Because now progress is not random, it becomes predictable. Now, let me give you a simple comparison. One person spends their evenings watching videos, researching ideas, trying different strategies. Another person logs in at the same time, follows the same system, executes consistently. 3 months later, the difference is clear. One has information, the other has results. And that's the shift from learning to executing. From chaos to structure. From effort to systems. So if you're trying to build extra income with a full-time job, this is the mindset change. Stop asking, how can I do more? Start asking, what can I repeat consistently? Because their goal is not to maximize effort, it's to minimize friction. Because when friction is low, execution becomes easier. And when execution becomes easier, consistency becomes natural. And when consistency becomes natural, results start to build. That's the system. Not complicated, not flashy, but effective. Because in the end, the professionals who succeed are not the ones who know the most. No, they're the ones who can execute clearly, under control, consistently. And when you do that long enough, even a simple system can outperform almost everything else. That's how you build income without quitting your job. Not by doing more, but by doing the right thing in the right structure consistently.